Welcome back to another episode of the Constructive Liberty Podcast, a podcast dedicated to intentionally designing as much freedom as possible into everyday life. I'm trying something out different today. I've felt for a while like I needed to have a little more structure within the show, so I've kind of come up with a few different segments, and I'll choose about 3 of them each week and just kind of provide a little insight and some tips on how to design more freedom into your life. This will be things like the Instant Income Minute. I'll have some productivity tips, leadership principles, some lessons from life. And from time to time, I may even highlight and talk about a news or a personal development article. I'll bring that out. Just things to help us to live life intentionally and to better our own lives and the lives of our family, to create more freedom, whatever that looks like for you, in your own life. And then, of course, we'll always have the main topic of the show. And I also would like to start each episode with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day comes from Roy T. Bennett. He's an author, and his bio says, Roy T. Bennett is a thought leader. He loves sharing positive thoughts and creative insight that has helped, countless people to live successful and fulfilling lives. He realizes that he should spread these thoughts by writing and inspire you to believe in yourself, in your abilities, and your own potential. He hopes that his writing will help you to become what you are capable of becoming. And the quote that I have from him is this: learn to light a candle in the darkest moments of someone's life. Be the light that helps others see. It's what gives life its deepest significance. I chose this quote because it ties directly into the main topic of today's show, and we'll get into that in a minute. But first, I want to talk about the 1-minute income segment, or the Instant Income Minute. I don't know what I'm going to call this yet, but this will be things that we can do to generate income now. We're always looking for things to do to create more money. That the money that we earn, the money we bring in, is what gives us the freedom to live the lifestyle that we want. So, not all of us are blessed with the kind of career that we don't have to worry or think about money and need more of it to live the lifestyle that we want. So that's where this 1-minute income segment comes in at. The tip I have for you today is this: provide services. Services is the lowest level, the lowest bar for entry for generating an income. And the easiest way to do that is to jump on your local Facebook groups, and whatever services that you can provide, offer that. A really easy one is to offer trash hauling. In America, we produce so much trash, it is absolutely incredible. Even the lowest income people have piles of trash piled all over, like just laying around. I've got trash here that could be hauled off. Now, I do my own trash hauling, but so many people don't have the time or the willpower to clean up and to haul off their own trash. So jump on Facebook, offer that as a service. You're looking for an immediate return, so you want to extend the lowest and most likely to be accepted offer possible. If you have a truck and a trailer, that's great. But if not, you might line up several clients for the same day and then go rent a truck. But when you do this, make sure you figure in your dump costs and your rental fees so that you can bring that income in. The second segment I have is the productivity tips. So often we set out to do something, and I'm really bad about this on podcast day. I don't plan it out very well. I often don't really know what I'm going to talk about ahead of time. So I sit down, and it takes me 30 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I'm sitting there 2 hours trying to come up with the show topics and how I'm going to present it and all of that. And it's not the most productive time in the world for me. So what I suggest is this, and I try to follow this sometimes, but I don't always do this. But get a timer, like one of those little egg timers, or even on your phone, and set a timer for as long as you can normally maintain your focus. For some people, it might be 15 minutes. For the next, it might be an hour, but usually somewhere within that 15-minute to an hour range. Set the timer, turn off all the notifications on your computer, on your phone, on your tablet, on your iPad, your watch, turn off any possible notifications and interruptions. Close the door to your office and turn on some focus music to help you really get in the groove, and then just sit down and pound out the project. Or if it's an outdoor project, you might turn on some upbeat music that helps you get moving faster. I know for myself, when I used to run, I'd listen to music, and I would find myself, if an upbeat song came on, I'd be running a lot faster, and my I'd run a lot faster mile than when a slower song came on. And I could try as hard as I wanted to not run with the beat. But my point being, if you're doing physical labor, turn on some upbeat music or something that gets your blood pumping, that you can move with the rhythm. That'll help you get it done faster. But then, after your timer goes off, give yourself a little break. That's a reward. You've focused, and now you can take a little break, rest for a second, grab a drink, whatever it may be. Take a little break, and then after that 5-minute break is up, sit down and repeat the process, and do that until your project is finished. And if it's not an all-day project, if that takes 2 or 3 rounds of setting the timer and taking a break, and then the project is done, then move on to the next project and start over again. You can do this over and over and over again, and you'll be surprised at how many projects you can pound out like that. But the key is to limit the notifications and the interruptions, I should say. Keep those things out of the picture. So for the main topic of today's show, going back to our quote, learn to light a candle in the darkest moments of someone's life. Be the light that helps others see it. It's what gives life its deepest significance. So I chose the main topic. I ripped it straight off of a post in a group that I was in. And the guy posed a question. How do you define a meaningful life? So I thought it would be interesting if I went through and read some of the comments that people left on how they define a meaningful life. And then after all of that, I'll give my own thoughts on it. First person says, no one can define it, being the meaningful life, because every different person assigns different meaning to life. It's up to an individual to search the true meaning of his life. Another person says, you want to live life to the fullest. Not always, but time to do whatever I want. That's a good one. Freedom that we always talk about. Freedom and time to do whatever I want. The next person says, for me, meaning is that I loved, cared, and served humanity fully. Another person says, when I succeed in being myself and in teaching people what I've learned through my journey, and I give them my experience as a helping hand to develop them and make them happy. Next person says, by how many lives I touch. This person said, wine, women, and song, and not in that order. This person left a very deep comment, I felt like, and it's a lot in line with my thoughts on the question. Meaningful life equals a happy life. A happy life equals a life of purpose and finding pleasure in every day. Next person says, to live my life to the fullest and to get my inner peace. And the last comment is to ensure that we win each day. We're intentional and keep ourselves uncomfortable. Decisions like living according to our values, calendar planning our priorities, sticking to our planned budget, and delaying gratification so that we keep focused on the next and not the now. I agree with that to some extent, but we also have to live in the now. We have to be present with where we're at, because when we get outside of that and we're only future focused, that can cause a lot of anxiety in us because we're focused on what's coming and we don't truly live here and now. Now, here's the comment that I left. Living in a way that creates positive impact on the people around you. And we've talked about this so many times is that generating impact is what gives you the sense of purpose, what gives meaning to life. If you observe people who live with purpose versus those who don't have or don't know their purpose, the ones who live with purpose are always creating an impact on other people's lives. And they would be the ones who would say that their life has meaning. Whether they know the meaning of life or, that can be such a deep question depending where you want to go with that. But to live a meaningful life is a life that impacts other people. If you go to a funeral and you listen to what people say about the person who died, you know whether that person had impact by the people's comments, and they talk about the meaning of his life, what he meant to them, what he meant to the people that he worked with. A meaningful life is someone who lives life to the fullest, who lives every day as if it was their last day. I think it was Zig Ziglar who talked about a productivity hack, and he was saying, live every day like you were going on vacation that weekend. Do the things that matter is what he was getting at. He was talking about it in a work context. Like, what would you do now if you were going on vacation in 2 days? What is the minimum barrier to getting by and to making sure that things can continue? Well, I say, if you knew you were going to die this weekend, how would you live? Obviously, you probably wouldn't go work if you knew you were going to die this weekend. You wouldn't go out and put forth your effort into building something for someone else. But the point is to live every day to its fullest. Look for ways to impact the lives of other people. In every interaction you have with another person, ask yourself, how can I add value? How can I create impact on their lives? How can I make so that they will remember me and the impact and the value that I added to their lives? How can I make them remember me forever? We're not going to be able to do that for each and every person, but always be looking at things that way. What can I do to make this person's life better than it was before I met them, before we came into contact? What can I do to make this person's life better? How can I cheer up their day? Is it just a smile? Is it a kind word? Is it a word of encouragement? Maybe an act of service for them. Always be looking for those things. That is what brings meaning to life. Create an impact and you will be considered to have lived a meaningful life. That's all I've got for today. I'd love your feedback. Send an email to ken@constructiveliberty.com and I'll read. There goes my email. Somebody just sent me an email. I will read the feedback on the show. I'd love to hear from you. Also, I'd love it. It would mean a lot to me if you would leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever it is that you listen to your podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere. I do have one announcement to make. I am going to make a concerted effort every Wednesday morning from 6 o'clock Central Time till 8 o'clock Central Time for 2 hours to be available on MeWe in the chat. I would like to answer any questions or get any feedback, just to connect better. I want to build a community of people who are seeking to create an impact, who want to live and design their own lifestyle of freedom. That is the thing that brings us together, is creating that lifestyle of freedom. And in that, generating massive impact on the world around us. So join me every Wednesday from 6 to 8 Central Time. I also may answer other times in the group. I'm often in and out, but specifically on Wednesday mornings, I will be there. I'll be chatting it up, dropping things in the chat, whether you're there or not. I want to provide value in this way. So see you on Wednesday mornings. Go do good work.